So this is my 2003 Ford Excursion, and I'm doing a fuel pump repair. I realize not everyone has access to a forklift, but I was able to lower the fuel tank by taking off the 2 bolts forward and 2 bolts aft, which another YouTuber said were 18 millimeters. I doubted that because it was a Ford. I thought it must be 3/4. But sure enough, 18 millimeters was closer to the actual size. It was difficult to release the fill hose, the larger of the 2 hoses. The vent hose was slightly easier, but still kind of difficult to do. They were very hard to get to because of them being behind the frame there. So what I had to do was take the 3 screws out of the fill at the gas cap, and then that helped to lower it down low enough for me to be able to get to the hose clamp on top of the tank. Another thing to remember while taking this down is there are hoses and wires attached to the top of the tank. You can see those clips there. That's where the hoses and wires were. They go directly up onto the frame, and a couple of them you need to break loose to be able to lower the tank down. These straps just hold on the insulation that's up against the top of the tank. And then the straps where the bolts are, fore and aft, are what suspends the tank up against the bottom of the car. Now once you get in there, there is a access hole that has a large ring on it. There's the ring, and there's the access hole. Now when you get to that, it's very difficult to turn that ring. I had to pry it with the screwdriver a little at a time. There's small indents on the sides of the ring to be able to get it to move. Once you do that, you can pull up the whole fuel pump assembly and get it where you can work on it. And you will spill gas all over yourself. Oh no, I really didn't. But you can see there's a couple of the hoses that attach to the top of the assembly. Now these are the hoses that have the blue clips. There's a blue and a white clip actually. And the clip is one of those clips that you push in to release. So you push the clip in. And then here is the actual fuel pump assembly itself. So the fuel pump is right in here, right under this. You take these 3 very tiny screws out to be able to take the top off. Now those 3 tiny little screws are, let's see, 3/16, I believe. And I was able to get those out and then take the pump out. Now once you take the pump out, it looks like this. So there's the old pump. That's the new filter that is going on to the bottom of the pump, right there. Now when you get your new pump, it also has this little rubber foot on it, and this goes on. The filter itself gets clipped onto the bottom of the pump, and then there's another hood ring that goes onto the top of the pump. And then you just push it all back in, put the 3 screws on, and then push it up till it snaps on these clips that are on the side. Now these are also the clips that hold it into the base in the bottom of the tank. You can see how that pushes out. And then this is the fuel level indicator. Goes up and down. So I will replace this O-ring. Interestingly, the kit came with 2. Not exactly sure why. And put that all back together in there. This is the old filter. And that may have been part of my problem. But it would intermittently stall. So I'm hoping that it was the fuel pump issue. And I will get that replaced and put back in, and if there's anything more, I'll let you know. One thing on the bolts that were holding up the fuel tank, holding it to the frame, they were really hard to get off. I had to use a 1/2-inch drive and a cheater bar to be able to get those bolts off of there. You can see where that bracket is in the back there. That's the bolt holes. There's 2 in the back and 2 in the front. And it was very difficult to get those off. So if you have access to an impact driver, that might be easier to do. Well, that's my video on replacing an Excursion fuel pump. I hope that helps someone else.